Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hell Yes podcast. We are back and we are better. Let me give you guys a little update, a little life update before we get into today's topic, because I feel like you guys are really going to benefit from today's topic for the simple fact that it's summer. We are just trying to be super soft and feminine and girly and just living our best lives. And I feel like talking about receiving energy is going to really get you prepped and set. So we'll discuss that in a little bit, but let me just give you guys a little life update. Okay, so literally last weekend, I went out with my friends and we just had the time of our lives. And you know this if you've been to bars, like when it's super noisy and, the music's blasting, there's a million people in there and you're trying to talk to your friend, you are just shouting, like you're shouting into your friend's ear so that they can hear you. And I just did that for 2 days straight. I went to the bars back to back, had so much fun dancing, whatever and whatnot. But then Monday rolled around and I realized I lost my voice, so I could not record a podcast episode. But it's okay. I took a little time off so I can get my voice back. I filmed some videos for YouTube and now we're back, guys. Like my voice is better. It's definitely still a little raspy, but nonetheless, I am back and I'm better. I feel so good right now. I don't know if it's like the weather, if it's my braids. I got my braids done. I got them done last week and I haven't had like a protective style like this in so long. I think the last time I did something like this was back in like 2021 or 2022 when I got my goddess twists, which actually were like really annoying because they kept unraveling. So I'm really happy to have braids. I think they're just a lot easier to manage. And I have boho. Is it boho? No, I have goddess braids with human hair. Life-changing. I need human hair in my hair so that I can like manage it well. I like to just kind of spritz it in the daytime, put a little mousse, put a little cream, and boom, I'm off to the races. So these braids have been gorgeous and they have a little pop of blonde in them. So sexy, obsessed. Anyways, I want this particular podcast episode to be about entering into an era where you are in your receiving energy. And this is more specifically for my girlies who are a little hyper masculine or tend to just be the givers in majority of their situations, or can be a little bit on the negative side and are not really seeing that they're blocking their blessings, which is really important. We have to be able to be self-aware enough to know, like, are we blocking our blessings or are we just waiting for them to show? And a lot of the times you're blocking them because you're not in your receiving energy. And when I started shifting my own perspective and my own way of thinking so that I can be in receiving mode, these were the things that I really followed to a T to really open up my aperture to see a lot more beauty in my life. What is so fantastic about being in receiving energy is you are just in a place where you're resting and seeing your blessings come to you. You're in a happier state, you are in a more receiving state, and you're noticing a lot of generosity around you and people being very considerate. You are very protective of your peace, but you are open enough to see something outside of your own day-to-day life. Like there is something so beautiful about giving a little bit of your energy to the outside world and then keeping majority of it to yourself, but still opening it up enough to see wonderful things happen around you. This is more about like the preparation to being in it. And this can be for relationships, friendships, blessings, etc. I think that a lot of the times we don't even realize how much we're stopping our own bag, or we are preventing love from entering our life just based off the fact that we are a little bit jaded, or we're just very hyper masculine or a wounded feminine person. And we're not really in a place where we are allowing good things to happen for us. What was cracking me up was I was posting a little bit on my Instagram, and I actually went on a date a few days ago. And so many of you guys were like, oh my God, is this a soft launch and this and that? And I have told you guys 1,000,001 times, I will never soft launch a man. Like, it's not my thing. Granted, if I'm like madly in love and I know for a fact that I'm going to marry this person, let's revisit this conversation another day. But as of right now, I am just posting what I want to post. And it's nothing to do with them. It's more to do with me. Like when I post a man's hand or like him doing something for me or me out to dinner or me in a sexy dress and maybe somebody's in the background, just know it's main character energy, baby. It's me showing, look at me living my best life. Look at me enjoying the fruits of my labor. Look at me just being a woman. And that is really what this is about. I do not post men or things about men in the sense of like, look at me with somebody. No, 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 no. I am just in my receiving princess treatment era and I'm just having a ball. And I have to say, this particular man that took me on a date, the first date was quite wonderful. We went to dinner in the city. It was just such a beautiful date. And then we went to the Yankees game, which was wonderful. I had such a good time. And I just love doing things. Like I love activity dates. I love an itinerary. I just love a plan. And for it being the first date, I have to say that was quite spectacular. It's going to be very difficult for somebody to top that, I have to say. But hey, I am just in receiving energy. But the reason I bring this up is because my friends, like that I know personally, and some of you guys that have messaged me, how do you get to go on these dates? How do you get a man to do X, Y, and Z for you? Blah, blah, blah. And I really think it's all about just being in your receiving energy. And I am going to go through the 6 things that I think will help you get to a place where you can receive these wonderful dates, where you can have people around you just being so attracted to your magnetism and to your aura, to where you can start having your blessings come to you and practically beg you to receive them. And it's just such a beautiful energy and light that you radiate that allows you to see wonderful things. We're going to start with number 1, which is confidence. This is huge. To step into your receiving energy and to be someone who can receive, you have to be confident. You have to believe that you deserve the things that are coming to you. If you have low self-esteem, if you're somebody who struggles with being in your like attracting era, you're not going to feel good about anything that happens to you that's positive. You're going to think that it's, a catch, or you're going to be like, oh, why did this person do that for me? This is so weird. Or you're going to feel like you don't deserve it. And if you are not confident, you're just never going to really receive the blessing the way you want to. So definitely work on your confidence. For me, I tell myself every day that I am so beautiful, that I am so intelligent, that I'm so wonderful. And I like to see myself for who I truly am. It's not a delusion. I really am those things. And it doesn't mean that I don't have negative qualities about me, but there's no point in emphasizing in it. You are very aware of the things that you fall short in life. It's not something that we completely just forget about, but we don't need to remind ourselves about it every day either. There has to be a way where we are self-aware enough to work towards bettering ourselves, but also a little bit delusional enough to be kind and gentle and give ourselves grace so that we can really be a confident, happy, healthy human. I think a great way to boost your confidence so that you can be in your receiving energy is find things about yourself that you really enjoy. When I started working on my confidence, it was more about, okay, Haley, rather than fixing all of these things that you hate about yourself, why don't you intensify the things that you like about yourself? So if there's something that you enjoy, why don't you perfect that a little bit more? So for instance, let's just say I love sitting down and doing my makeup. Like I don't do my makeup begrudgingly, but let's just say maybe my makeup routine is a little outdated. I don't think it's actually that flattering. If I enjoy doing this particular task, why don't I sit down, get myself grounded, and try different routines that make me feel more beautiful? Or you can even do an internal glow up that helps improve your confidence. Let's just say you're really good at speaking and you carry yourself really well and you're very eloquent. What if you were to do like a word of the day or reading really amazing books that help expand your vocabulary so that you can get even better at speaking and improve that thing that you already know that you're good at? Doing things that improve you in a way that you're proud of will always help you become more confident. I have found that the more that I work towards the goals that I've been ignoring for years, which was my body goals, my career goals, even my solitude goals, like the things that I do when I'm alone. These have really helped boost my confidence, taking care of myself in a way that I could have never imagined, and going towards things that make me feel good and whole and comfortable. That has really improved my confidence. So definitely start working on that, and you will see things around you change, and you're going to be in a more receiving energy because you feel good about yourself when you wake up in the morning. Okay, the second way to be in your receiving energy and to really allow it to kind of come into your life, the preparation needed to tap into your feminine energy. Now, I'm going to assume that majority of the people that are listening are women, so that's kind of why I like to use these tips that are more geared towards women. And I kind of hate the topics of femininity at times, but I do think that they're kind of important, and they allow you to soften up and to let in the simple luxuries into your life. And for me, I know that I used to be very hypermasculine, and I still do have hypermasculine qualities, especially in my go-getting mentality. Like, I am a go-getter like a man. I like to make money like a man, and that is who I'm going to always be. But if I want to be in my receiving energy, how can I kind of turn that down a little bit and rest in my feminine and just let things be? So a couple ways to rest in your feminine is to lean back and let things come to you, whether it's good or bad, and you can either rebuke it or you can accept it. And for me, sitting back and really letting things happen for me has been really wonderful. So I let a man plan a date. I let my money come in as it should. Also allowing things to be easier and more effortless. Not everything needs to be difficult. Not everything you do has to be hard. I think trusting and listening to your intuition is also a way to tap more into your feminine energy, surrender into the flow of things, allow love to flow through you. You don't want to be someone who gets tense and agitated when good things happen, or even when people kind of come into your life or things come into your life. You don't want to be stressed out by love or generosity or consideration, because if you are, you're too masculine. You need to just let it flow through you. Does that mean that you need to absorb and take in every single thing that's happening? No. Let it flow through you and make decisions based off of that. When you think about how high achieving women can learn the feminine art of receiving, it's important that we nurture parts of ourselves that we tend to ignore, and we are able to surrender and be a little bit more just free flowing and letting just things happen. We can do it all, but we don't have to. And that is so wonderful. I think for me, when I was relinquishing that control and allowing myself to be more feminine and also being in an art of receiving, I allowed the man to plan everything. And back in the day, I used to be like very controlling and type A, and what are we gonna do and when and how and this and that. And I was always so freaked out and anxious, where now I just say, if it doesn't go the way it's supposed to in my mind, that's okay, but let people just do things for you and just be present, be there. And that is how I have allowed so many wonderful experiences to happen for me. If you just free flow, surrender, and allow things to just be, you might be surprised on what somebody really plans for you. Now, granted, yes, you're going to meet some shitty people who are going to give you shitty experiences, but the more that you tap into your highest self and you become more aligned with that version of yourself, you will start attracting people who are attracted to that light, which are usually people who are quite similar. And it's important that you realize that your worth is not defined by how much you do, give, perform, and achieve. Worth is just what it is, and it's a given thing. So being in the art of receiving is understanding that you don't need to prove yourself to be blessed, to be given princess treatment, to have good experiences. It is not necessary to prove yourself, especially as a woman. Being in your feminine energy is knowing that being a woman, being grounded, being gorgeous, being the girl who's just there is enough. And I'm telling you, the more you tap into that, the better experiences you're gonna have. Okay, the third thing to really just getting into your receiving energy is to stop caring and get into that black cat energy. I know you guys have seen online everyone talking about like black cat golden retriever, and this is huge. And it kind of sounds a little bit like a contradiction to being feminine, but it's not. I actually think that feminine women can be a little cold or just kind of very protective of their energy and peace. So for me personally, I have had to really help myself get to a place where I can be in that black cat mindset. I am a little bit anxious. I'm a little bit giddy, and I tend to get very excited when I meet really wonderful people and I get ahead of myself. But when I started tapping into my black cat energy, I was starting to receive way more amazing experiences. And I'm not really sure as to why that is, but if somebody were to get into the psychology of a man, I'm sure they would say things like men like a challenge, men like women that are very focused on themselves, men don't really want to be with someone who's like obsessed with them out the gate. So knowing that I know now, I really just like to keep myself busy in my hobbies. I have a very tight schedule. I can't see you just because you want to see me. And I am just really allowing myself to grow in like with people. And it's not always about growing in love, but growing in like. I don't even like you yet. How about that? How about we see if I even like you? And that is huge. So being in your black cat energy and knowing your worth, knowing that you are the prize, knowing that you are the person that deserves good experiences, you are going to see everything around you just transform. Not only with men, but in your blessings, in your money, in your friendships. When you think of a friend, right, when you meet a person that you really like, are you bothering them every day after you met them? Like, what are you doing? Why are you not texting me back? No, you don't do that to friends. So why do you do that to men? Why are you constantly on their ass about everything? Let yourself just rest. Keep yourself busy. Do things that make you feel good. And don't let anybody think that you're sweating not having them in your body, in your phone, in your life all the time. The more you stop caring, the more you'll start receiving. It is just how it is. I would love for me to be able to tell you guys that if you obsess over something and just really just do it every day and bother it, that it will eventually be. But no, there is something about just letting things be, to stop caring. Don't be that person who is really trying to force things in your life to be. If you want to see blessings, you have to also let things go. If somebody or something does not want to be there, let it be. Stop caring. Always care the most about yourself and your sanity and your future. And even if you maybe thought that this person or this thing should have been there, say to yourself, well, if they don't want to be, I don't want them to be. That is the art of not caring. And it's not like you're being a bitch or being cold or being mean. You just don't want anything that doesn't want you. And I'm telling you, the more you shift your mind in that way, the more you'll start receiving people and places and things that actually want to be a part of your life. And kind of on that subject, number 4 is to do less. Just do less. You want to be in the art of receiving, do less. If he texted you 2 sentences, text him 1. If he called you once this week, you call him 0 times this week. Just do less. And I'm telling you, it's just about conserving your energy and your peace. If you don't conserve this part of you, you're going to be pouring into a negative headspace and you're going to constantly be in chasing mode. You don't want to be in chasing mode. You don't want to chase your blessings. You don't want to chase people and you don't want to chase friendships. You want to be attracting them. So when you are just being and living and just independent and happy and just very genuine, you are going to attract what you are. And that's not to say that every single person that's going to meet you is going to fall in love with you and be obsessed with you. No, but I will say this. For the most part, a lot of people who have messed up with me very deeply regretted it afterwards because they realized that being with someone like me was a flex and was a gift. When you know that you're a good girl, you're a happy girl, you're a healthy girl, and you're a really confident, special person, you know that people are going to always feel a little odd about the fact that they don't have you in their life anymore, and that's on them. So just do less. Don't go out of your way to try to receive your blessings, and also don't do things to try to block them either. Just rest in your feminine energy and let things happen the way they're supposed to. I'm telling you, things come full circle when you just are in a healthy headspace. And if you want my tips on how to really get yourself to stand your ground and honor this part of yourself, like I said, pour into yourself, constantly keep yourself busy, and learn the art of just being. Sometimes we don't have to be busy to be happy and healthy. And I think that that was something that I was chasing for years. So I try to do a healthy balance of keeping busy, but then also having a healthy amount of solitude where I have to be in my thinking and be in my thoughts. I try not to really deeply obsess over anything, but I will let thoughts come into my head and then I'll release them. That's it. And you're allowed to have feelings and emotions tied to people's actions and things that they do, but always come back to center, which is that you are the prize, you are special, you are feminine, and you are in receiving energy. And if somebody doesn't want to be generous with theirs and they want to try to take away from yours, then that is not what you want. And that kind of goes into my next point, which is to release energy that isn't yours. This is humongous, guys. Anytime you find yourself giving more energy than you receive, step back. You'll know it's not for you when peace of mind is the price and not the reward. So keep in mind, everyone, that when you are constantly sacrificing your peace to be a part of something, then it's not for you. You need to have a healthy, secure, safe environment. And even when it pertains to chasing a dream or career, yes, there is a difference between compromising your peace and having a little bit of sacrifice. Sacrifices are healthy, and we do have to sometimes have sacrifices in order to have blessings. But understand the difference between a sacrifice and it compromising your entire being to where you are deteriorating as a human. You don't want to be someone who deteriorates because you are chasing something. That is not healthy. And that is when you know you need to take a step back. Now, some things that I want to remind you that are energy takers, just so that you guys can be in a healthy state during this time, is perfectionism is an energy taker. People pleasing, living in the past, negative self-talk, mindless scrolling, not asking for help, concealing your emotions, having poor boundaries, a cluttered environment, the desire for external validation. These are all energy takers. So if you work on those things, your energy will be in a different place. You will be free flowing a little bit better, and just release the energy that isn't yours. If somebody is very nasty or negative or just in a very demonic like state, do not internalize that and do not take that on. That is not your energy to take on. And when you can tell that somebody is going through some sort of strife or issue in their life, take a step back. Say, I hear you. I'm sorry about what's going on with you, but I cannot consume or absorb this energy, and release it. You need to keep your energy pure, and everything in life holds energy. So make sure that your environment is clean, your life is clean, your friendships are good, your relationships are good. And if they're not, try to take a step back and find ways to make your energy more positive. And lastly, into being in your receiving energy, is you need to stay open and positive. This is something that I think a lot of people struggle with more than they think. And it's because they feel like if things are not exactly how they envisioned or planned in their head, then it's not for them. But that is not how being in your receiving energy is. If you want to be someone who has good experiences, you need to stay open and you need to stay positive. It's the only way. So let's just say somebody asks you out on a date and you're unsure of this person, but you know they're going to give you a good experience. You know that they're kind. Go. What's the harm in going? It's not a big deal. I have had such great experiences because I didn't close the door on opportunity and because I allowed people to show me who they were rather than me trying to jump to conclusions in my own head. There is an art to conserving your energy and being present, but not allowing people to completely penetrate your aura and make you a negative or a weird person. I am able to go to a lot of things and not really internalize anything at the same time. And it's a really beautiful thing. So I have welcomed more amazing experiences into my life. I have had just a lot more blessings. And I think it's because I opened up my aperture a little bit more and I stayed open and optimistic. Being a positive person will always be the better answer. When I was in a very negative headspace, I found that I was always very judgmental of different things. And I feel like I was always blocking my blessings that way because I wasn't, allowing myself to, develop different friendships or do certain things. And when I stopped being so judgmental and negative, I was able to see things in a more healthier way and not internalizing things, but also just staying open and grounded. Okay, guys, I hope you guys got something really good out of today's episode. It means a lot to me to be able to have these conversations with you. I really want you guys to get out of that energy where you're not in receiving mode. Being in a receiving energy is so beautiful and it gives you so much opportunity and blessings, and you will see your life just transform in ways that you have never seen before. It is so beautiful. Your dating life is going to get better. Your blessings are going to come to you a little bit better. You're going to be happier and more healthier. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode as much as I enjoyed making it, and I will see you guys, or I will speak to you guys next Tuesday. Bye, everyone.